Look at our health, some new ideas for us to activate. And today she's going to introduce us to an Australian named Joe Cross. You may know his name from if you're into documentaries. He starred in the documentary Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. He was able to transform his health by consuming nothing but vegetable juices for a couple of months, which is extreme. But it's a great documentary. Gives you a better look at some things that maybe we all need to take notice of as well in our own daily lives. So right now we can listen to the two of them discussing things.
We live in the age of the guru, particularly when it comes to our health. Television physicians, superstars, models, all of them have a solution for us to make us healthier, better, more the people we want to be. My guest today is Joe Cross. Joe didn't start out to be a sage, but he's certainly become one. He filmed a documentary in 2010 called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead that continues to inspire others to this very day. I'm so pleased to welcome him. Welcome, Joe.
Joy, thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. Joe, you made a huge shift in your own life a couple years back. What was that moment, that defining point when you decided that you really were at your own fork in the road?
Well, bottom line was that I turned 40 years of age and I was tired of the procrastinating of I'm going to do something about this. I'm going to change next year, next month, next week. And it was just kept getting pushed out. And like I'd been on medication for a debilitating autoimmune disease since I was 32. So that's 8 years, all right up until when I hit 40. And taking pills every morning and every night, that wasn't fun. And no matter how good my day was, it was always a reminder at night time, going for the medicine jar, cracking open the pills and loading up. And then, of course, we know what happens when you take lots of pills. You have to take other pills and other problems. And the pills weren't actually zeroing in and fixing the problem. They were more like masking the symptoms of the problem so that I could actually function. And I decided that I needed to take some drastic action. And my drastic action came in the form of going on a 60-day juice-only reboot, which I call it, and plus eating fruits, vegetables, nuts, beans and seeds for as long as it was going to take to get off the medication. And
wonderful.
Luckily for me, it was only 90 more days, so 5 months in total of just plants.
Perfect. Were there any false starts? Was there a point in time when you felt like you needed a do-over?
Whether it was smart or not, I don't know, but I put a camera on myself. And by putting that camera on and that lens, I really couldn't trial and see. I wanted to make it all real and wait for the camera. And so I didn't have any false starts or trial starts. It was actually what you see in the documentary is actually what you get. And the camera, it helped in two ways. It helped me from a community point of view, looking down the lens and saying, well, there's bunch of people out there that they're not watching it now, but they will watch it one day, and so they were sort of helping me along. And the other benefit was that it sort of was if this works, this could be very helpful to others. So it sort of gave me momentum to keep at it and to see if it could actually heal me.
So what's the role of accountability for people who are trying to make the same kind of changes that you made?
Accountability to other people, I think if it comes in the form of community and support, then yes, if you are actually connected to people that are of the same interest as you and actually supportive, then I think that accountability can be very positive. I think that if people are in a relationship where it's a one-way street and they are trying to impress somebody and that person is not necessarily on their team or on their side, then it depends on whose accountability they're towards.
Absolutely. So your current lifestyle with all the travel really isn't conducive to healthy living. How are you handling that now?
To me, I try to look at all this in perspective and not to try and be too fanatical. I sort of picture my journey as I was in a very extreme position where I was not eating plant food at all. I was living mostly on processed food, I was living mostly on animal product. And I wasn't exercising, and I was smoking, and I was drinking, and I wasn't getting a lot of sleep, and I was quite disconnected from society, believe it or not. So I had a whole lot of problems. And what I decided to do was to tackle them head on with some fire to fight the fire. So I took extreme action against extreme behavior. And so I did that for a period of time. And then things got back into balance and I reset and I felt good again. So now what I'm trying to do is not to be a fanatic where, oh my God, I can't have this because it has this ingredient in it, or I can't have that. I try to be more balanced. And I think that if you sort of take the top 3 causes of disease today when it comes to our health, and that's smoking, what we eat and drink, and exercise. Well, smoking I don't do anymore. So that's one of those things that I don't think you can do it as a small thing. It's kind of like it's got to be all done.
Right.
Some people can have a cigarette every now and then, and good luck to them, but I can't. So that's gone. So I've been a little bit extreme on smoking, so no smoking. When it comes to the food, I'm a bit more balanced. I eat processed food, but I don't eat it anywhere near like I used to. And I eat lots of plants. And, you know, as an example, I will be on the road, and just today, where I was traveling today, I went to a cafe that was serving vegan, healthy, plant-based food, and I've had that meal today and I feel great, and so I've got that into my body. But sometimes, like 2 days ago, we couldn't find that, so we had a Mexican meal. And so it's not like I don't beat myself up about it. I think the area that I've got to get better at, and the hardest part about traveling, is the exercise part, because the routine of being on the road is not conducive so much to training. And that's a part that I've got to, you know, that's the area that I've got to keep working hard at.
So the changes on the outside are pretty obvious. What about changes on the inside?
Yeah, I think there are big changes there in terms of happiness, big changes there in terms of confidence, big changes there in terms of clarity of mind. Like, sleep is better. I started out my journey about 320 pounds. I got down to 220 at my low. I'm about 245 now. But the big news for me is that I don't take medication. I don't get sick anymore. And, you know, if I do get a little bit of, you know...
rundown.
Yeah, if I do, it lasts maybe 24 hours. It doesn't last a couple of weeks. So that confidence makes you feel better inside. It makes you feel strong. It makes you feel positive and optimistic about life. And so there's not too many things that you see as a hurdle. So you have this little inner voice and this inner propulsion of like the wind at your back to actually overcome some of the challenges that we have in life. And so that is that's a nice thing to have nowadays.
If I needed to make changes and I wasn't getting there, what would you tell me to try to convince me that I needed to make those changes?
Well, I probably wouldn't try and convince you. I think that we live in a world today where too many people are trying to pitch other people things and tell people what to do. So I'd probably just share with you my story, and I'd share with you the logic that I came to. And I think that if you think about people that are feeling down, feeling fat, feeling tired, feeling sick, feeling unmotivated, I think that there's probably 2 things that are going on in their life that I would be able to identify pretty clearly. And that would be 2 love affairs, or 2 relationships are broken. And those relationships are, one is with plants, so Mother Nature, and the other is the relationship with themselves. And these 2 relationships we don't spend a lot of time on. We spend time on other relationships, our relationships with our co-workers, our loved ones, our families. We don't spend a lot of time on ourselves or our time with plants. And so I tend to sort of say, or, you know, try to share the story that, you know what I did? I simply went back to Mother Nature and I said, hey, I've been ignoring you. I thought I could do this on my own. I was wrong. Can you let me back in? And how about you and I partner up and let's see what we can do if all I do is live on your plant food.
I love it.
And so by doing that, you get this strength back, and then you start to get a bit of respect for yourself, and then the second relationship that blossoms is the relationship with yourself. So they're the 2 areas that I see that are broken in a lot of people, not only in America, but I travel all over the world. I see that relationship broken in lots of parts of the planet. And so that would be my story that I would share with them, would be those two relationships. Work on those.
Joe, thank you so much for sharing your story with us today and for continuing to inspire others around the world.
I could listen to him talk all day.
I love people with Australian accents. They can sell you anything.
And such good information. I love how
he juiced his way.
Genuine he is with everything.
Juice and then plant-based food
yes,
is
always, that
his
is
way
never
to
a
health.
bad idea.
So who'd have thunk it? Could have had a V8.
Well, yes.
Maybe not quite, but anyway, it was a way to start.
Step in the right direction.
That direction there.